So today we will talk about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. Why we are talking about recently in Mon district of Nagaland, what happened? The 14 civilians are killed by the armed forces during an operation. If you talk about, and many are injured and some are in hospital and some are with critical danger, and it might lead to that. So this is the operation, and one of the most important issues came out is the AFSA, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and Chief Minister of Nagaland and Manipur as well as the some member of parliament has demanded to repeal this law. So let's talk about this law and what are the main provisions which makes it most controversial, and what is the commission and committee report and SC judgment, and what is the way forward. As I have told you that why news, recently the 14 civilians killed in an operation by the army, and one of the most important issue came out of it is the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958, and post this CM of Nagaland and Meghalaya, some MPs have demanded the repeal of this law. This is the why this is in news. So if we talk about the AFSA 1958, then let's talk about the brief history. Remember that the Armed Forces Special Powers Act is the colonial law. It's not an Indian law, it's a colonial law. So remember that the ordinance was promulgated by the British on 15th August 1942 to suppress the Quit India movement. This is the one of the motive of Armed Forces Special Power Act. But after independence, what happened? Government retained it, and Armed Forces Special Power Bill was passed by both the houses of Parliament and got approval by the Honorable President of India on 11 September 1958. That's why it is called the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. If you talk about what power actually gives the union government to make such a law, remember that in Article 55 what is said that it is the responsibility of union government to make safe or to take any action if there is any external aggression and internal disturbance took place in any state or union territory. So this is the job of the, and this job comes under the Article 355, and that's why which drives the power to make union government such a law. So further, if you talk about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, then remember that main purpose is to maintain the internal security and anti-insurgency and anti-terrorist activity is the main purpose of this act. If you talk about, then remember that the act came into force in the context of increasing violence in the northeast state, which the state government found difficult to control is one of the most important reasons, and that's why this act is made it. So this is very, very important. So further, if you talk about, then remember that this law has a periodic review of 6 months, and if needed, then there is a further extension by notification can take place after approval of Parliament. Remember that. If you talk about AFSA Act 1958, firstly repealed in Punjab, if you talk about, and currently it is effective in, if you talk about recently in Nagaland, that's why the unfortunate event happened, and Assam operating Manipur. Manipur has a great history related to the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. If you talk about, there is an Iron Lady of Manipur which actually held a protest of 16-year-long hunger strike known as the Irom Sarmila. So this is the very popular lady in Manipur to repeal this law. So this is very, very important. But still there are in the Manipur, but yet restricted the area and excluded seven assembly constituencies of Imphal. If you talk about the parts of Arunachal Pradesh still operating but restricted the area including the police station. So there are the now AFSA is here the police station, around 7 police stations. And if you talk about, there is a separate law on Jammu and Kashmir Special Powers Act. So that's why in Jammu and Kashmir this law is also operating. So now let's talk about the main provisions of the act and the controversy associated with the act. If we talk about the firstly, remember that the section 3 of the act allows the governor of a state and administrator of union territories and the central government, the parts of a state and union territory and the whole states and union territory can be declared as a disturbed area. This is the keyword, the disturbed area. Remember that. Suppose if the governor of a state and union territory or administrator or central government feel that now this is a dangerous condition and can declare the disturbed area. What do you mean by the disturbed area? Then dangerous condition that army help is needed along with the civil administration to tackle the situation, and that's why declared as the disturbed area under section 3 of the act. If you talk about, then remember that after declaring the disturbed area, what happened? The AFSA Act automatically came into effect. Then remember that section 4 of the act, if you talk about, is the most controversial after the section 6 if you talk about. Then allows army officers, junior commissioned officers and the non-commissioned officer the power to shoot order to shoot or kill for offences which even causes death. Remember that in something which is defined under APSA found illegal by the army, then army has the full power to shoot without any warrant or kill someone person which might lead to death, which happened in Nagaland earlier, in Manipur earlier, in Tripura, and there are some of the cases which is more grievous against the army. So remember that. So that's why this is the very important. It actually takes away the fundamental right granted by the Article 22. Basically, due process need to be followed in any of the cases. How can you kill a person which arrived from this issue? So remember that. Under, if you talk about the section 4C, the army can arrest anyone without an warrant and use any amount of force necessary to effect the arrest. So now recently what happened in Nagaland, 14 civilians have been killed, and army said in a statement, this is an intelligence failure and we have told to stop the vehicle, but they didn't stop, and that's why the army shooted them. So if you talk about the section 4C, it actually empowers the army to arrest anyone without an warrant. If they didn't stop, then why didn't you arrest? Why you didn't arrest? So this is the very important issue. Why you directly shoot them? Why you didn't arrest? So this is the one of the important, because is there the power to arrest any person without a warrant. So this is one of the important issue related to this. So this is also takes away the fundamental right, actually right to inform why I am arrested. So this is very important if you talk about. Then remember that this section 4B empowers the army to destroy any property. Suppose if there is any anti-insurgency activities or terrorist activities going on particular property, if army found that yes, then army has the full power to seize or destroy that property under section 4B. So if you talk about this section 4D, army can enter and search without a warrant to make an arrest. So if the army feels that yes, there is any property, there is any house, or there is something which is going on, then army can directly enter without a warrant and can seize anything and something like that which happened. Or remember that must be unlawfully kept. If there is a lawfully kept by anyone, if people, insurgents, anything like that, but must be unlawfully kept, then army has the full power. Now we'll talk about the most controversial section. This section 6 is the most controversial of this act if you talk about, because it gives the immunity to the armed forces if you think whatever you do. So this is the criteria. So in this act if you talk about, there will be no legal proceeding can be brought against any member of the armed forces acting under APSA without the permission of the union government said by this section. Actually, it gives the immunity to the armed forces. Whatever they think or whatever they want to do, they should do, and there will be no accountability and plus immunity. So this is very important, and that's why it is the most controversial. If we talk about the issues related to the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, then remember that the enormous discretionary power and there is a no accountability, because these are the sections which give the enormous discretionary power, whatever they think they can do. So this is very, and there will be no accountability. Who are accountable for such killings in recently in Mon district of Nagaland? The 14 civilians and 22 are injured and some are in hospital in critical situation. Then who are the responsible? Who are the accountable people? So this is the very important if we talk about. Then remember that obviously these are the powers if there is a no accountability and such killings lead to the violation of the human right and violation of the rule of law, because it gives the immunity to the army, and under Article 14 rule for there is a equal protection of law. So this why there is a no proceeding against the army, it is a complete violation of rule of law under Article 14 if you talk about. Then remember that it also shows the failure of the army and the civil administration. This is also said by the Supreme Court. Continuation of the ASPA shows the failure of the army and the civil administration, why they are still continuing if you are still operating the APSA. Another is the dent to the peace process. If you talk about recently in the Nagaland insurgents group and the union government, there are some peace group and peace accord has been signed. So obviously this kind of thing will happen, then there will be a dent to the peace process. So remember that, and that's why these are the issues which actually causes the hate against this act, and some CMs and also the member of parliament and insurgent groups, and there are some protests demanded the repeal of this law if you talk about. Then remember that some committees, some commission and SC judgments, so there are which also against the argument against this Armed Forces Special Powers Act. The N. Santosh Hedge Committee has been appointed by a 3-member committee appointed by the Supreme Court to look at the killing of Manipur. So what this committee said that the all encounters were the extrajudicial execution and APSA was widely abused by the forces. Further, Justice Jeevan Reddy Commission, if you talk about, said that the act is a symbol of hate, oppression and instruments of high-handedness and this law need to be repealed, said by the Justice Reddy Commission, if you talk about. Then the second ARC, one of the most important document of the Union government, if you talk about, then remember that it is scrapping would remove all the sentiments of discrimination and alienation among the people of Northeast and the law need to be repealed. This is the argument against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. If you talk about the SC judgment in 2016, if you talk about, then remember that said that the due process need to be followed. You cannot take directly action. So remember that. And there is no blanket immunity to the armed forces, means accountability must be ensured, and also giving the 10 commandments to the armed forces that if you are dealing, they are our own countrymen and you should make proud on you itself that this is the army which you are dealing with. So this is very, very important of the judgment and some of the commission. So this is the issues related to the act as I have told you. Yet still we cannot say that this act need to be repealed. If we talk about the main purpose is to maintain the internal security and anti-insurgency, and there is a history of insurgency in the northeast areas and that's why this act. But yet we need to amend it, make it more comprehensive, and it must be actually which should not violate the human rights and the fundamental rights of the people and make it more comprehensive. Armed forces must be accountable to the civilians because they are serving their own people. So these are the also said by the Supreme Court, and obviously it is also the job of the government to take a rapid development in the northeast. So there is a alienation in the minds of the people of our northeast. So that must be eliminated. So this is Opera. So these are the way forward, as I told you, that make it more comprehensive while amending. There must be accountability for any unfortunate event which happened in Nagaland, earlier Manipur or Tripura. If you talk about the violation of human rights should not be done. Obviously we are a very democratic country and that's why rapid development is needed, especially in Northeast, to eliminate the feelings of alienation and sentiments of discrimination in the minds of people. So thank you guys. Hope you like this video.